You're listening to the Claret and Big Blue podcast on the Pass the Gravy podcast network.
Damn, Daniel.
Over the middle, touchdown Giants.
Taken away by Wicks.
Oh, it's glorious. It's Pettis to Jones. Oh, what a catch by Daniel Jones.
Cleared as far as Saeed Ben Rama.
And we are live.
We'll do it live.
Welcome everyone to Claret and Big Blue, probably the only podcast on the internet dedicated to West Ham United and the New York Giants. That's right, football and football balls for everyone's taste. I'm Mike Fish and I'm joined as always by a man that can actually hear me this week. It's Mr. Alex Middleton. Fuck you. You can hear me.
It's not. Are you talking? Oh yeah. Okay. And I got you now.
It's a nice t-shirt. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. How about you? I don't know. You reading this lawsuit shit that's coming out about the Giants right now? This Brian Flores thing?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get into that here when we talk about the Giants here.
Honestly, I thought you were talking about that stupid one where the lawsuit was saying they should change the name to New Jersey Giants or something.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, cliffhanger. So make
Things
sure you
are
tune
heating
in
up.
for our Giants chat. So what do you but before we get into sport, because we've got a lot of bitching to do, but also a lot of celebrating, depending on which team we're talking about. What have you been up to this past week, last 7 days in the life of Alex Middleton? What have you been doing up to?
Not too much, man. I mean, I've just been kind of following all the moves the Giants have been making, really, with the new head coach. Kind of just trying to see who we're bringing in as coordinators, and what's going on with that. But what about you, dude? What have you been up to?
I celebrated the end of Manuary by doing some man shit.
It was a fun Manuary. I'll give it that.
We had like a fuck ton of, not a fuck ton, but a decent amount of snow over the weekend. So what I did, I took my beers, plonked them in the snow, and then I enjoyed some snow beers while I shoveled snow. It was pretty sweet.
It's always
So yeah, you don't get to enjoy many snow beers in Texas, right?
not many at all, if any, ever. I don't believe I've ever had a Texas snow beer.
The Jersey York Giants. Who are they, Alex? But thanks for joining us live. You can also join us live.
They used to do that with the Metro Stars, the New York/New Jersey Metro Stars.
Well, they have that. Is it what's the NSWL? The women's soccer
National
league.
Women's Soccer League.
Is it like New
It's
York,
like
New Jersey,
Gotham FC or whatever
something?
it is. Yeah, which is tight.
Yeah,
that works for everything.
I like it. They've got some good. But again, I was like, "Oh, that looks like a cool jersey to buy," and it was like $100. I'm like, "Nope, not interested anymore. I'm not spending that much money on one jersey. I'm tight." Shit, what was I going to say? I was going to say something else to you, and then I go, "Oh yes, for the very first time, people might be because now we've been enabled some extra cool features because I guess we've been going on for so long now. So not only are some people watching us live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, but you may be watching us on demand on YouTube. But now, if you so wish, you can now watch the replay of this show on Spotify. So you can open this up on Spotify, and you can either just close the app and listen to the audio version, or you can keep it open and actually watch us on Spotify, which is pretty cool. So
That's pretty cool. Didn't know we could do that.
Yep. So new day for the Giants, new dawn
How about that?
for the podcast. So yeah, we're going to switch it up this week because normally we talk about Giants first and then wrap up with West Ham, but we thought we'd end on a positive note because everyone loves a happy ending. So we're going to talk about West Ham first because yesterday wraps up the January transfer window, and just in case you wasn't keeping up with the transfer market, I put up a quick montage video just to highlight all of the West Ham's new signings. So we're going to show the video and then we're going to talk about all the new signings
All right.
for West Ham. So, out of all of those,
Yeah.
who are you most excited about?
I don't know. I like that second tumbleweed that we saw in the video. That was my favorite one.
It's good pace. It reminded me a little bit of
Probably
Antonio.
the best pace of all of them. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't really know if I want one of those tumbleweeds to sub in or start any games like that. So I'm not sure. Not sure how I feel really about this transfer window. But you told me you had a little theory on
Yeah.
our lack of anything, the lack of transfer window, I'd like to call it. And why don't you let us know what your theory is on this?
As some of you may remember, last year we had a young man named Daniel Kretinsky, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the Czech guy, Czech
We'll go with
businessman, Czech billionaire who invested and purchased roughly, I'm getting the percentages wrong, but roughly about 20-25% of West Ham. And the information that was coming out, apparently he only did that because he had the end goal of buying the club outright. But the information that was coming out was that because of the dodgy dealings with London Stadium, was that if David Gold and David Sullivan sold the club for in excess of £300 million, they would have to pay the London specific government 20% of that in tax because of the deal with the London Stadium. However, after April 2023, that clause now vanishes. So after that, they can sell the club for however much they want and they don't have to pay the excess tax. So I think, I could be wrong, but I think the lack of activity in this transfer window all but confirms that that's going down. They are selling up and they're just thinking, hey, look, we're not going down. We're going to be a Premier League club for the rest of the year. So why do I put any more money in?
Next year, right?
Yeah, but why do they care? They're selling up next year, so they don't give a shit if they're what they're doing. So I think I could be wrong, but I think they're just saving their money.
I get it, and it makes sense. It's just like
this will be Daniel's fault next year,
you
or
fucked
Daniel's
the club
problem.
over by doing this.
That's my theory.
This is like no, it makes sense. It's just annoying that
and what made it even worse is
dude,
that
you have him in such a good spot. At least leave him in a better spot, or try and keep them going that way. And be like, well, for all the shit that we gave them, at least the last 2 seasons they were in charge. They sent us to Europe. That would be a tight way to go out.
Well, to play devil's advocate, we are 100% in a better position now than we were when they bought the club, because we was very close to going into administration after our Icelandic owners cocked up massively. But yeah, it's still bullshit. But I think that's what they're doing. They're just saving their money and then selling up and going into the sunset. But the proof, I think, almost to kind of add extra fuel to that fire, is when we apparently put in a £50 million bid for Phillips from Leeds. That was obviously never going to happen. They were never going to accept that 50 million for one of their best players on the last day of the transfer window where they can't replace them. So that was obviously just like hey, at least we tried.
And we talked to that Benfica guy. There were a couple other feelers that made it seem like we had out there, but just it was all they were lowball offers that we were gonna get, or just people that nobody had any interest in moving. And we tried something, and it was like, no, you made a couple of phone calls, I bet.
Hey, PSG, we'll give you 20 million for Neymar. No? Okay, well, we tried.
Okay, no, I get it, you gotta set the value.
So, that was... I don't know what I'm more annoyed about is the fact that we didn't buy anyone, or just in a weird way, I would rather that we didn't do absolutely anything rather than those token shitty gestures at the end of the window where it's like...
Right, we kind of talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago with the Moyes system, where it's it's not the best guys or whatever. It's just we have to get the right guys, and just getting a guy, if Moyes didn't think that fit well, I think that makes more sense. But I don't know. I feel like Moyes had to kind of wanted something.
Well, yeah, I made an analogy to someone yesterday where it's kind of like when you're sitting there, so you're sitting at home and you're kind of like, ooh, and you just notice, oh, I'm a little bit hungry, you can then take that time to find, okay, I want to find something that's going to fill me up nutritiously, but also I want to find something that tastes good and it's my favorite. I'm going to take that time and effort to do that. You can do that when you're only a little bit hungry. But then if you keep holding off until you're starving, eventually, no, you should just take what you can to fill that hole. Yeah. And I think we have now been, because even if you only go back to when we sold Allaire, that's now 3 transfer windows where we haven't replaced the striker that we sold. Like, we...
Pretty much.
And they said, oh, well, yeah, Moyes wants the right person to fit the culture and yada yada. He doesn't want to buy someone that doesn't improve our team or something like that. But then when you look, okay, if you look at our backup striker, we don't have one. So literally anything is better than what we have right now. I just don't understand at all. In the 31 days that we had available, we couldn't find one striker that would fit in. It's impossible to me.
No, you're exactly right, man. Like it's frustrating that like that was a glaring hole. We had been saying that all season long. Like, hey, well, we just if we could get one striker right there, I understand that. The back of our defense needed some help there for a little bit. We're getting healthy though, but Antonio is a liability. He doesn't play most most seasons. He does not play all of the games. He's rested. He has he's injury prone. Like, what are we going to do if he goes down? We're fucked. And yeah,
basically it's a ticking time bomb. It's not when it happens.
Or not if it happens. When he gets back, Bowen, we can he's been carrying the weight. Suchek, we can ask those guys to step up, but we didn't bring anything in there. And Vlasic, I like Vlasic. I like what we've seen. That he seems promising, but just I haven't seen anything jump off the page just yet to make it be like, okay, well, you know what? If like God forbid if anything were to happen to Antonio, we got Vlasic behind him. Like if Vlasic if that's got to be our consistent go-to guy, we're really in a lot of trouble with Europe and with our standings in the Premier League, where we haven't secured a Europa spot or a Europe spot at all yet. Like there's no 8, 9, 10 teams in the running for that right now at the point in the season that we're at. And I understand your logic of, we're going to sell. Why would we spend the money on that? But you're leaving they left the team in a better spot at this point from when they bought it, but like not from last year. Like you could have added something. You could have given Moyes a little bit more money, and maybe they did, and Moyes just didn't find somebody that he thought he could move for. I don't know. We weren't behind the scenes there, but it just feels like we could have done something at least, if nothing else, at the striker position.
Even because the problem is, I think, is because your logical mind thinks, okay, if you are planning on selling, well, if you invest a little bit and then we qualify for Champions League, then you can now say, well, we're a Champions League club and you can make more money on the sale because we're a Champions League club. However, I think the deal had already been done with Kretinsky, where he bought X amount of shares for that amount of money. So I'm thinking they're like, well, if we want to sell him more shares, we have to sell them to him at the same rate. So it doesn't matter whether we increase the value or decrease the value of the club. The price has already been set with him, if that makes sense.
Would it also be like stocks? Like the price goes up, dude. You bought this team that was a Europa club. Now we're a Champions League club. Price is up.
But are West Ham publicly traded? I don't know if they are.
No, I'm saying you treat it like stocks.
No, I know, but I'm just saying maybe
when you wanted to buy the team, it was a Europa League team, but now it's not. Like I don't know if they're publicly traded, but regardless, like if you qualified for the Champions League this year, then you can ask for a little bit more.
Or maybe I don't know. If Kretinsky could at least said, "I want my future club that's going to be all mine to do better." So he could have maybe forked up some money at least. If you're not going to invest, take some of my money to buy. I don't know.
You would think.
It's just very frustrating. Or he could have said, "Jesus Christ, take one of my other players from his Czech clubs. Take a striker from them."
Don't worry though, because we still do have Armstrong, Akoflex, Mbule, Longello, Emmanuel, and Kamari, Simon, Swire that we haven't had any playing time yet, but they're on our roster. So maybe we could use those guys as our.
Why didn't you mention it earlier? Problem
strikers.
solved.
Yeah. A couple 19-year-olds and a 21-year-old.
Well, fuck, what's it? Sonny Perkins. He looks good. He could be one for the future, but I don't think it's going to be now.
He's more of a mid guy, though, but still. Sonny Perkins is a fucking awesome name, also.
It is a good name. That's going to be a documentary about him one day.
Sonny Perkins seems like you'd be a folk singer, or like Sonny Perkins would have toured with Bob Dylan.
Like, Sonny Perkins
Bob
is headlining that show.
With special guest Sonny Perkins. Or a country
I played for West Ham, but they never play me. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, pretty much. Then Daniel Chesters. That's a perfect thing.
Dan Chester sounds like someone who's on Peaky Blinders.
Oh, Danny Chester's over here.
Don't want me calling my old mate Dan Chester.
You want to go over here with me, eh? Keenan Apaya Forson. That guy's got a cool name. Freddie Potts. Oh, Freddie Potts.
Isn't he the son of Steve Potts, who used to play for West Ham?
I don't know the history of West Ham as well as you do, so I don't know. But he's only 18, so kind of makes sense why all of these guys are playing. But again, this is who our backups are.
Yeah, we're going to have to play.
I mean, I would have loved literally one other guy that had some Premier League experience maybe, or some sort of top tier experience that isn't just with the youth squad. Not that our youth squad's not good. We did just get promoted, right?
Our youth squad has historically done very well, consistently.
And then we just sell them off, and that's how it works.
And we just keep loaning them off until they're 24, and then we just sell them for like 100,000.
He's been loaned out 98,000 times, and then Nathan Trott, I think, has been on 75 loans in his time with the club.
I can't remember how old Connor Coventry is, but yeah, the amount of times I've seen his name loaned out, in my head, he's like 32 at this point.
Jordan Ugle.
Oh, he scored his debut for, was it QPR the other day?
I don't know, but I feel like we always just loan out guys. We loan the same guys out over and over again. I guess it makes sense.
Well, Jordan, we sold him. He's gone. He's no longer on our books.
Oh well, he didn't play on our team really ever anyway. So
no, but he did want to walk out to the bubbles. So what's your kind of force? Because now this is it. This is what we got to play with now. Where next year,
I mean that's it. Like I'm disappointed we didn't at least try.
We got the Premier League. We have the FA Cup. We have the Europa League.
It's a lot. We just gotta hope. Like fingers crossed, we stay healthy. You know that's really what this season's gonna come down to at this point. If we can show up for those games, I mean, we have a solid squad that can compete with pretty much anybody. If we're healthy, I think we're in all of this. Still, that's just like with depth. It's if anybody in the front gets injured, we're kind of screwed. So
it is all eyes on Antonio because luckily now we've got Zuma back. Hopefully he stays fit for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, with all of those competitions, we've only got 3 centre backs. It's a little worrying.
Yeah, only 3 center backs does worry me. And then do they just have a shit ton of faith in the youth squad? Maybe I don't know.
Doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't. Really doesn't. I mean, I feel like our FA Cup, like the go all in on the FA Cup is not really going to happen.
Well, it helps that we've got Kidderminster this weekend.
Right, but we can only go so far. It's kind of like the Carabao. It's like, well, at a certain point, we're going to play City.
Yeah, as much as I would love to see us win the FA Cup because I want to see us lift a trophy.
That'd be really cool.
I think where we are now in Europa League, I think now we have to not give up on the FA Cup, but that's going to be the main one where
Europa League is
play the second tier team.
We're not going to win the Premier League. We can get Champions League, but let's kick some ass.
I think we just go all in on Europa League.
I think so too.
Because if we win that, we're in the Champions League. No matter where we finish in the league.
So you could get relegated. Like you could finish 20th in the league, but if you were in Europa League, you would say you were just like, fuck it, dude. Like, we don't even give a shit about the weekend games. It's Thursday games or nothing. Like, you could just get relegated
Be
And
playing
then
the
just
championship.
go to the
And also Champions League.
That'd be nuts.
That'd be hilarious if that happened.
I mean, it would be stupid to do that, but it would just
It would be.
yeah, it would be silly if that happened. Like if Wolves had come back like last year where they got into Europa, the year before when they got promoted. What if they just came back down to earth, but then like somehow won Europa? See you in the championship, but also congratulations on the Champions League. I don't know.
It's a dream.
It's a dream. Not really.
It's a dream. No.
I don't think it's the dream.
You looking forward to Saturday? Kidderminster Harriers at
No, it's at
6:30 a.m.
Yeah, it's 6:30 my time. It's 7:30 your time. So no, not really. I'm not gonna lie. This may be a game that I just have I casually tune in from in bed.
Or maybe even watch the replay later on.
I could also watch the replay. If we lose this.
If we lose this, then our summary of the game next week is going to be very
quick. I don't, because if we lose this, I'm gonna be upset, but I'm not really to care.
I mean, I'll see. If I'm up, I'll watch it. But I'm not setting my alarm for watching this. To be honest, I can just watch the highlights.
I'll wake up when the crow roosts rooster crows. There we go.
Well, I'm not making that pledge though, because typically whenever I say no, I'm not getting up early, I'm going to sleep in. For some reason, I wake up early. So we'll see. But the big one is Watford. Watford next Tuesday. So we can technically do a post-game show for a live Claret and Big Blue. Episode 60 next week. Watford. We should win that, right? They didn't really strengthen in January. Yeah. They're shit. They're the worst team in the league.
But then we're going to play like shit. We're going to play like shit, and we're going to eke out
we've had a break.
Win.
And we always play that shit after a break.
No,
so it's going to be stressful.
We'll be fine.
I think we're going to win. But it'll be like a stressful 1-0, 2-1 or some shit like that.
1-0 and then we'll score 2 right at the end. And okay, we put it away.
But yeah, at this point, a win's a win. I don't care how we play.
Just give it a dub.
Let's get a dub. Yeah, so that's our bitching done. Venting. Let's move on to Pastures New. Exciting stuff. But a couple of things we need to do before we move on to Giants chat. Obviously, we're going to talk about new head coach Brian Daboll. And also, apparently, Daboll. I've been mispronouncing the GM's name. Because it's like Shane. I've been saying Schoen.
Yeah, Joe Shane and
Joe Shane. So I'm guessing that's an Irish name, the way it's weirdly pronounced.
Joe Shane.
Joe Shane. But yeah, Brian Daboll is our new head coach. And if you want to celebrate like we are when the t-shirts eventually arrive, you can get your exclusive Brian Daboll New Hope t-shirt over at merch.cbbpod.com. We have t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. I'm actually excited about the mug to arrive because that looks pretty sick.
The mugs did look cool.
So you could go to merch.cbbpod.com, get your Brian Daboll New Hope t-shirt. Get it now. But then also before we move on, we have to play the return of the game that's sweeping the nation. We're going to test Alex's knowledge on something random on this week's episode of...
How many things can you name?
So this week, because for those who everyone should know, but if you don't know, Alex has other podcasts he does other than this. He does Pass the Gravy, but he also does a spin-off, Pass the Gravy Bro, regarding Big Brother and Celebrity Big Brother. And Celebrity Big Brother returns tomorrow night on CBS/Paramount Plus. So he has a keen knowledge on Big Brother since he does a podcast about it. So this week's How Many Things Can You Name are past Big Brother winners. So I'm going to...
Celebrity Big Brother.
No, this is just regular Big Brother.
Okay.
So that's a calculator. I don't want a calculator. I want a stopwatch. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds to name as many past Big Brother winners as you can. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Will Kirby, Mike Boogie, Derek Levasseur. Dude, Andy Herron, Josh Martinez, Jackson Mickey, Xavier Prather, Nicole Franzel. Fuck. Now I'm getting in my head. I already said Dr. Will. Dan won season 14. Ian Terry also won. He's from New Orleans, but also lives in Houston. Who else? Steve, season 17 won. Do not remember his last name. Steve
Moses.
Steve Moses won season 17. Season 18. Damn, dude. I think I'm running out. I'm running out of names.
Well, you did pretty well. You got most of them. You missed my favorite one.
I should have started and then just gone in chronological order. I did not do that.
Season 8 winner, Dick Donato.
Evil Dick.
He sounds like a private investigator.
No, he was not at all, but he was problematic at times.
You got a problem? Hire Dick Donato.
Yeah, no, he was more of like just an angry dude. Fuck.
Did you say Derek Levasseur?
Derek Levasseur. Cody Calafiore. Shit, how did I not get that one? Cody Calafiore, just one of the most
season 22.
Season 22.
There's one. It's on this list because I didn't watch it.
KC.
But there's one here. It's listed as seasons 1 to 23. But there's one. It says OTT. What does that mean? Who? Morgan Willett.
Over the top. So that was right when it was CBS All Access. It's what Paramount Plus is now, but it originally was CBS All Access. And they wanted to try some new stuff with Big Brother out, but they were like, okay, well, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this like as a whole. Like CBS didn't want to run it as a whole season, but they wanted people to subscribe to the platform, the streaming platform. So they just were like, all right, well, after the people move out of the regular season one, we're just going to do another one. And it was like, it was 2015. It was the year Trump won the election, because I remember Julie Chen had to announce to the House guests that Donald Trump was going to be the next president. And that's like a YouTube clip if you go look that up. But it was just on Paramount Plus. That was the only way to watch it. And so like, people always say it's not like a real season, and I guess it kind of wasn't. I think the girl that won it, Willa, is dating like Johnny Bananas or somebody from The Challenge.
Fuck is Johnny Bananas?
It's another reality TV guy.
You love your reality TV?
Real world, I want to say. Well, I mean, I don't watch The Challenge, but I watch Big Brother, so.
I heard The Challenge was big, like huge. A lot of people.
It is pretty big. It's like like athletic as well. So I don't know. Maybe I need to get into it. A lot of Big Brother people will go on it now. I don't know if we're gonna get into that MF gravy pool, but if we do, you will be in it. I'm realizing now that I have not set up all the stuff, so I'm gonna have to get everybody to join it in the next like 24 hours. So probably not gonna happen with that. But I will grandfather you into the summer Big Brother pool, Alex.
So for those less educated, what is the MF gravy pool, or is that just motherfucking gravy pool?
Motherfucking. I always say to let me know you went in the gravy gang pool. Just be like, let me in that Big Brother pool, and you basically just like. You get assigned a name. I draw names, a name of a house guest, a name of just of people in the pool out of bowls, and if your person wins, you get free stuff from the merch store.
Nice. So, how many contestants are there for Celebrity Big Brother? I'm sure you can find. Was it 8?
I think there's like 10 or 12. Yeah, something like that.
Whatever. Yeah. So check that out. Is that? Correct me if I'm. Does that land on the regular Pass the Gravy podcast theme, or is that on its own animal?
You'll just search Pass the Gravy, bro. It's not on Pass the Gravy. Pass the Gravy, it's its own thing, but it's like we talked about Big Brother on Pass the Gravy. So
Alex, I was the first one out last year.
Yeah, Pass the Gravy, bro. It's its own thing, but
so yeah,
it's in
check
the
it out.
Pass the Gravy podcast network.
But also, you do live, right? On Facebook.
Yeah, we'll be doing them live on our Facebook page, so that should be cool.
So yeah, search for Pass the Gravy Bro on Facebook. And so if you're watching Celebrity Big Brother, check that out for the post-game show. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Giants' new head coach. Very exciting. Brian Daboll. We have to get used to that. We have, because obviously he did his press conference yesterday, meeting the press. So we've got some. Normally, you know me, like to put my videos in exclusiveness. So I've got a little snippet, my favorite little snippet from the press conference, just to kind of get. This is why we're kind of very hopeful. This is Brian talking to his new followers.
All right, I am the Messiah. He is the Messiah. Now, off.
So he was harsh with the press, but he was firm. I liked it. You have no idea what the life of Brian is, do you?
Nah, but they just kept asking him to like compare Daniel Jones to Josh Allen. It was like, dude, he's not fucking Josh Allen. Like, we're gonna work on him. But it was like, how many times can people rephrase that question? I think that it was pretty funny that he was like, look, I'm not gonna ask that. I'm not gonna answer that. I've already been asked that. And then he called out a reporter for showing up late to the meeting. That was pretty funny. I don't know. Joe Judge did the like football harder, like he did what the Bears guy did the other day, Matt Eberfluss or Nate Eberfluss. He was like, we're gonna be tough-nosed football, and we're gonna run, and we're get your track shoes on because we're running now. And I liked that.
We're gonna outwork everyone.
Yeah, Daboll was like, we're gonna try and turn this shit show into not a shit show. And ideally, nothing is guaranteed, but I think we can whip this up into a pretty good football club. And I was like, yeah. I like to hear that.
I like the honesty where every time they asked him a certain question, he was pretty much, and I'm paraphrasing, was like, dude, I haven't started yet. I have no idea what I'm working with, really. Like, I'm going to try, but we'll see. I'll let you know. But one of the dick question, I can't remember who it was who asked the question, but it was basically like, hey, did you take the Giants job because you wanted to work for the Giants, or was it they the only ones that offered you a job, or something like that? It was like, what the fuck is that kind of question? Why would you ask that?
And they also, like, the Dolphins had been talking to Brian Daboll too, so it wasn't just him that had interest. It wasn't just the Giants that had interest.
But yeah, whatever. He answered that. But yeah, I liked his answers. I'm not, you know me, we're diving in head first. We're all sold. We're on the Daboll train right now. But
hey,
I did genuinely like.
I like the GM. I'm cool about it.
I liked the fact that he was kind of like, rather than this is what we're gonna do, I'm gonna install this. He was kind of like, hey, I'm gonna speak to the people that are already here. I'm like Daniel Jones. I'm gonna find out what he likes, what he doesn't like, what's happened so far, and then I'm gonna bring what I can. We're gonna try to work something out. He wasn't kind of like, no, I'm gonna fix it this way. He seems like someone who's going to try to integrate but improve rather than just
he asked Daniel to show him his favorite parts of the offense in the last couple of years, and even his time at Duke, which I feel like was a little bit of a backhanded like insult to like Joe Judge and that whole team. Was like, maybe even some stuff from Duke, because obviously nothing from this past couple of years has worked really since you've been on the team. This offense has kind of been stagnant since you've ever been here. You haven't ever been gotten to be a part of a good offense. So what we're going to do is, if you saw any fun plays you had at Duke, show me those. We're going to work around that. And that is what you saw the Bills offense was catered to, where the Bills, like I said last week, like the Bills offense was able to adapt to whoever they were playing and expose the weaknesses on whatever the defense's weaknesses were. If your linebackers weren't great, he's going to kill you in the flats with his tight end Dawson Knox. If you're weak at corner, to Stephon Diggs is going to have himself a fucking day. If Josh Allen could just run all over you with the RPO, that's what he's going to do. He knows how to attack defenses the right way, and he knows how to play towards his team's strengths, as opposed to just being like, well, we're really a team that can just do this. We're really a team that does this. Like you have to be an offense that can adapt and do multiple things. And the Giants were so one-dimensional, and I would say the Giants weren't even one-dimensional. They were like below. They were like non-dimensional because they had nothing. They could do absolutely nothing, and it was Daniel running for his life with the RPO that really didn't work either because you didn't have anybody blocking for him. So I think that if you get they just got the Bills offensive line coach, they brought him over here to be the Giants O-line coach. I think that's going to be essential in what we do.
Almost had the was it assistant OC guy. Yeah,
and that Ken Dorsey got elevated.
But I love the ambition. I love the fact that we was like, okay, we suck. We like what the Bills are doing. Yeah, we'll just take that.
Yeah, just do that. I'm cool with that, man. And he's saying all the right things. We haven't seen anything on the field yet, but I don't know. I really like the way that he's selling himself. He's not seeming like he's trying too hard. He seems like he's a guy that's going to evaluate film and not having Gettleman in the front office. It's just like the consistency with Shane and Daboll. I think like those guys are going to live and die together from now on. Like their fate is sealed with each other. It's, that's going to be the blessing or the curse with this franchise now. Are those guys going to live up to what we're hoping they'll live up to? And really, the way that I think that Shane's pushed back with some of the stuff with the Maras, and I think that says a lot about a GM where Gettleman was kind of like, whatever.
I like the bet
that they took down magnets. Like the magnets were what was in their war room. He's like, we're gonna have some screens brought in where we can have fucking this is ridiculous. There's metal.
Are we in the 80s right now? What the fuck?
That we have players' names on. That's not how this is anymore. And we're walking into a new century really with this. This is we're modernizing this franchise, I would say.
And it's a little touch, but I did like how from that press conference yesterday, it does seem like from the back office side at least, Shane and Daboll are the faces of the Giants. John Mara's kind of sitting down because normally you would have John Mara introducing the GM. Introducing the head coach, but it was
fuck you for the Gettleman stuff. Get out of here, do the right thing. And I think he's like, all right, hands up. I'm just gonna put some guys that can probably handle this. Not saying that he won't fuck it up, but right now it seems like he's listened.
Did you like his joke though when he was talking to the press? Hey, get yourself a free large Pepsi when you leave.
That was kind of funny because it shows he's a little bit self-aware. And honestly, for the last couple of years, it didn't really feel like they were self-aware at all.
So, I wonder what his Twitter burner account is. He's definitely following some people. I wonder if he follows us. Maybe I'm going to need to take an eye on him now.
What's up? Shout out Mayor's burner account.
What's up, JM? J Mizzy.
So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with Daboll. I do have hope. So, buy the shirts, merch at cbbpod.com. Really excited to see, it sucks that this is the third time in 6 years that we're doing this, but we have hope going into a preseason now for the first time in a while.
Alex O asks, would you accept this trade? Saw it on a podcast. What other podcast you watching, Alex O, other than this and Pass the Gravy? You swine. Watson to the Giants for Jones and all this year's first round picks. I'm going to say no.
The Giants actually in the Joe Shane press conference, I believe, said that we are not trading for Deshaun Watson. We have no interest in Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is not a quarterback. And then Daboll really doubled down. Daniel's our guy.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to bring in somebody to compete with him. He's not going to just hand him the job. They definitely need to upgrade the backup quarterback position. But I think that he is planning on working around Daniel Jones. And
even John Morris
Daniel Jones is a quarterback that you can work around.
John Morris said, he was like, yeah, the past 3 years, if there's anything we could have done to fuck Daniel Jones up, we did it.
Pretty much.
So even though, I'm glad that they see it like we were talking about last week, I should say, is that this is the last year in his contract. There's no quarterback really good enough to replace him in the draft. So fuck it. So there's no lose in this situation. We give him the year, see what he can do with this new regime. Yeah. If it doesn't work out, then you let him go at the end of this contract. It's not a big deal. So I'm glad they're all in because why not? And I don't think it's going to be a situation where we need to build a team around him. I think this is kind of like if you build I hate the Joe Judge has ruined this word, but build the culture. I think we can be successful. And then just to tease me a little bit more, the fucking Bengals, who are a losing team last year, suddenly they're in the Super Bowl. Now I'm suddenly like, oh, that could be us. That could be us.
Bengals had 4 wins last year. We had 4 wins this year. Bengals are in the Super Bowl now. We could be there next year. So I'm just saying. Just saying.
Speaking of which, do you think they're going to win since it's the year of the Tiger now? Is that like an omen?
Well, it's in LA, but I feel like they won't win, but I could see them winning for sure.
Chinese New Year, year of the Tiger. They're going to
Yeah,
win.
that's very true. Very true.
And
We also
Bengals
had
are tigers, apparently.
We also had some issues with Brian Flores today, a little bit before the podcast kicked off.
Oh, yes,
Brian
just usually mention it,
Flores
yes.
has filed a lawsuit against the NFL, against the Miami Dolphins, against the Denver Broncos, against the New York Giants. And he's claiming that while he was in Miami, the owner was offering him $100,000 for every loss throughout the 2019 season to try and get the top pick. He's also saying that last year, or the first year before he took the Dolphins job, when he interviewed with the Denver Broncos, that John Elway showed up late and hungover, and it was clearly just so they could be in compliance with the Rooney Rule. And then he said that the Giants interview was all a sham, that they had offered, that they were planning on hiring Brian Daboll anyways, that they were just bringing him in, which, to debunk that, the Giants also interviewed Leslie Frazier twice and Patrick Graham twice. Both of them are African Americans. So the Giants were already in compliance with the Rooney rules.
So they didn't need to have him there.
They trying to say that the Giants were only doing it to be compliant with that. The Giants already had 2 interviews with 2 other people of color that would have put them in compliance. So I don't think they just if Brian Flores was the only person that the Giants brought in of color, then I think that is okay.
Yeah, if that was okay, if this was a box ticking exercise, then he wouldn't have been there because they would already had that covered.
And then he released alleged photos of screenshots from Bill Belichick. That was, I guess, while he was in, like, Bill Belichick had texted him and said, "Sounds like you landed. Congrats. Do you hear something?" Then Flores says, "Did you hear something I didn't hear?" And Belichick said, "Giants?" ? Then he said, "I interviewed on Thursday. I think I have a shot at it." Belichick said, "Got it. I hear from Buffalo and New York Giants that you are their guy. Hope it works out if you want it to." And then Flores said, "That's definitely what I want. I hope you're right, Coach. Thank you." Coach, are you talking to Brian Flores or Brian Daboll? Just making sure. And then Belichick responded, "Sorry, I fucked this all up. I double-checked and misread his text. I think they're naming Daboll. I'm sorry about that, BB." And then, so allegedly, Bill Belichick could have heard through the grapevine that Daboll was going to get the job, thought he was texting Daboll, Brian, and sent it to Flores. That sucks if that's the case.
That's horrible.
Sucks if that's the case. But I don't know. I don't know how you fault the Giants. But that also means, like, that doesn't mean that the Giants had straight up told Bill Belichick, "We are going to hire Brian Daboll, and Brian Flores has no chance." He could have also heard it through the grapevine, and I think that's a very...
Yeah, I mean, everyone...
There's no way they're going to be able to prove this in court, so I think the Giants, it'll be a talking point, but I think the Giants will be clear on this. There's going to be some really fun takes.
I think the Miami situation is more of an interesting one. That could be...
Miami, the most. And then I don't
But
really
yeah, even on Twitter,
they brought in other minority candidates, but the whole Rooney Rule thing, where and if you don't know what the Rooney Rule is, just to quickly recap you, if you're just listening or watching, like, it's, you have to interview a minority candidate for any open coaching position, and that, like, that's good to be inclusive, and I'm all for being inclusive, and I understand why the Rooney Rule was put in place, but that also does lead certain teams, because, like, there are teams where, like, we had said it all since Joe Judge had been fired. Hey, if they bring over Ryan Poles, I think Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs could be a guy that, they bring on as coach. We had, this guy was with this guy at this place. If they bring in the 49ers guy, the 49ers assistant GM, I think Mike McDaniel gets a great opportunity to come over from the 49ers. If they get Shane, which they got Shane, Daboll, or Frazier made sense, and they got Shane. He brings over Daboll. Like I understand like his frustration and what he's saying, but I think that like the Giants had wanted Daboll or Shane since or Daboll or Frazier since Shane kind of came over, and sometimes like it's just like, yeah, we want these guys, but having to interview everybody, that's not bad, but there are people that unfortunately are going like when you have to like do that, then it's like, okay, well, we want to get this guy. This guy's been our number one since we've had an opportunity to hire coaches this offseason. Like, well, we gotta pass the Rooney Rule, so they bring in people, and people are going to be brought in for interviews where they really aren't going to be a candidate for the job, but they have to be interviewed. And that's I'm not saying that's right, but it's like that is part of the rule. Like the rule is that you have to interview someone of color. If there's if there's 5 to 10 head coaching candidates each offseason and 3 of them are black, then you're going to bring in one of those guys at least because you have to. And whether or not I'm not saying it's right to not hire an African American coach, but it's a weird spot to put teams in where it's like, but you have to interview a black guy.
Yeah,
but they have to be a serious candidate. But you have to interview them. You're like, well, what if I already had my guy? Like, what if they wanted Daboll from day one? And well, you have to interview. Okay. Well, we'll interview some. Well, you didn't really have a serious chance at the job, but you told me I had to interview.
Yeah.
It's back and forth.
It's a can of worms to be opened.
It was put in place with good intentions, but I think that it does lead to the token interviews.
Yeah,
it's bad, but it's also
and it's not going to
fulfilling the duties that they have to do.
I'm not a fan of it because I get the intentions, but that rule is not going to fix the apparent problem that they have, or because even if let's just say there is a GM or owner who is super racist, right? Super racist. Forcing him to interview someone of color isn't suddenly going to go, oh, Jesus, that guy changed my mind. I'm now like.
But it gives them the opportunity to be in front of them, and I understand that like logic. But it's like, yes, it does give them the opportunity to see more minority candidates because they have to at this point. But then also you're going to have a guy that's like, hey, we had Daboll in for 2 interviews before we brought Flores back in for his second interview. By the end of Daboll's second interview, they were probably like, this is our guy.
Yeah, maybe the rule needs to be, but yeah, you're going to have eventually at some point, yeah, like you say, well, fuck, like I had this job opening, I want this guy, but I have to bring in other people to interview. So you are going to have this situation where I'm not saying, yeah, obviously I don't think the Giants did that because, like you say, we interviewed more than the rule. So I don't think that was
interviews with 2 minority coaches.
So the Giants situation, I don't think was a checkbox situation, whatever the fuck it was. But you are going to have that situation because at some point, because yeah, no, this is the guy I want, but just to be compliant, I have to bring other people in. So it's kind of like, it's good that it's there, but it's going to create these issues, and it's I guess this is going to happen.
And I mean, I applaud Flores if he's doing what he thinks is right, and it's like I think that he was also a serious candidate for the Houston job. So I don't know. I feel like does this mean he doesn't get hired by anybody? Because like, are you going to hire somebody that's suing the NFL now?
And because now you might have.
Is he going to be blackballed? I'm not saying it's right. I don't have anything to do with this, but
because then if someone hires him, you're going to have that situation where people are going to go, "Oh, you're just hiring because of this situation." Yada yada.
And it's like the Texans. If the Texans were to bring him in now, I mean, the Texans the only team with a head coaching open. The Jaguars, Texans, Dolphins right now. But Flores is not a Dolphins candidate, obviously.
Who did the Vikings take?
Vikings. Fuck, you're right. Vikings too. But they're talking to Harbaugh, and Patrick Graham was going in for another interview with them today. I don't know if Flores interviewed with them, but them interviewing Graham a second or third time like that, that's in compliance with the Rooney Rule. Is he blackballing himself doing this though?
Yeah, I don't think it was. I'm not gonna.
it feels
I'm not him, so I'm not going to tell him what he shouldn't have
Are
done.
the Texans going to bring in a coach that is suing the NFL while they're also still currently on their roster has Deshaun Watson, he's got a lawsuit against him too. So like, you're asking, I think you're putting teams in a tough spot, whether or not it's right or wrong. It's like you're putting a team in a really tough spot to bring in a new guy to establish a new regime.
Yeah, and I think he had. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to tell him what not to do, but I think he has enough. Definitely that Dolphins situation. That sounds like it's something definitely to be pursued.
That's basically you're telling him to tank. Although tanking is like not banned in the NFL. Like you should just not intentionally lose games. But they didn't get the number 1 overall pick the year they got Tua.
But no, I think if the problem would be if it's actually true that they were incentivizing him to lose, then I think that I'm sure there's something in the rules about that. I can't remember the word. I'm sure there is about how you have to go out and try to win at least for the good of the game or something. I can't remember the exact wording of it. So I think if he is getting paid bonuses to lose games, I think that could definitely get that team into trouble. But yes, and I think that whole Bill Belichick situation is just, even though it's shitty, that's just unfortunate. I don't think there's a lawsuit. But yeah, I bet Bill felt fucking awkward.
This is not going away anytime soon. And that's all alleged. Like, this was just a screenshot that was shared. This isn't confirmed that it was from Bill Belichick, but like, dude, the Patriots.
I mean, it sounds legit because Bill Belichick looks like the kind of person who does sign his text messages with his own name.
BB.
Like, dude, I know who you are. You text me. I have your number saved. You don't
like,
need to sign your text messages.
There's a certain age that you have to be above before you're signing your name, your initials after text, individual texts. Because he had been like, oh, the Giants job, congrats, I heard. And then he was like, oh, okay, sorry about that, BB. And it was like he was signing off, basically, at that point.
Let's catch up with the... So, like anyone thanks in the NFL. I know, but incentivizing it, that's just... heard you on the radio this morning. I don't think we should hire McCown or Ward.
Talking about the Texans.
Oh, yeah, I missed...
McCown may be the guy.
And then, yeah, let's end the show talking about this real quick. 5,300 for a Super Bowl ticket, pretty crazy. That's some of the cheapest ones available. But, I mean, I haven't looked into the... Is that something that's pretty much every year? I'm pretty sure it's fucking every year, right?
They're pretty expensive.
Tickets.
I think LA is just making them more expensive.
Yeah, so I'm not. There will be no Claret and Big Blue reporter at the Super Bowl this year. We'll just be watching on TV. R.I.P. Brady. Yeah. Did you see? How respectful? God damn, I love Eli Manning even more when he did that video wishing Brady a good retirement. He could have mentioned those 2 Super Bowl losses to Eli, but he didn't. What a guy. What a nice guy. I would have done that. Like, when he was... Did you watch the video he posted?
Yeah.
Like, at the end of it, he should have been all nice and then just casually, like, hold up his 2 Super Bowl rings. Like, these are the 2 you haven't got. That'd have been awesome. Any last thoughts, I guess? So, I think we've exercised the demons and laid out quite well.
I think we're good, dude. I think we're good. We're probably going to be covering this Flores thing for a little while from now on.
Indeed. That's gonna. Yeah, I think that's gonna drag out for quite some time. But until we're gonna wrap up some plugs. Obviously, so tomorrow there's gonna be like so much content if you want to continue listening to me and Alex. Good Lord! So tomorrow you have a new episode of Past the Gravy, and then also a live episode of Past the Gravy. Bro, when can people expect to enjoy them tomorrow? So timings, when does Past the Gravy come out, roughly?
Past the Gravy will be out around like 7:30 or 7-ish, something like that, Central Time. And then
you go live for people.
Bro, maybe around like 9-ish. Because I may have to watch on DVR, and if I have to do that, then we'll be a little bit later starting. But we'll be on live tomorrow after the episode. So if you're watching, tune in.
And what kind of things are on the docket for Pass the Gravy tomorrow?
On Pass the Gravy, I watched wrestling for the first time in a very long time, and I'm kind of back in on that. I think that's cool. We're talking about the
Jesus Christ, kept that
Spotify.
quiet. We could have done a whole Royal Rumble breakdown tonight.
I was
maybe
tweeting about the Rumble, dude. I'm a bit Bad Bunny's my favorite wrestler. Big fan of the Bunny. We're talking about Joe Rogan.
Very good.
We're talking about that whole shtick that's going on still, and then a little bit about Tom Brady. While we also answer your questions and tell you it's not cool this week, I think I have a pretty interesting not cool. When you check that out, and then I'm going to pitch you guys some pretty fun ideas. So fun-filled episode of Pass the Gravy tomorrow at Pass the Gravy Pod on Twitter and Instagram, Pass the Gravy Podcast on Facebook. What do we have to look forward to on Waffle Box?
On a Waffle Box, which is going to be released at midnight Eastern tonight, 11 o'clock Central. We're talking a little bit about Wordle, the evolution of Wordle, and hilariously hypocrisy of the person that designed that game. As I like to say, I like to bitch about things and be jaded about things. So yeah, and then we're going to talk about the death of the sexy cartoon character, because as we all know, Tucker Carlson got really upset about the green M&M, and I just kind of believe that. But apparently, Minnie Mouse is now changing her whole vibe, and Candace Owens is not happy about that. So now it's becoming a thing. So we're going to do a thing about it, about the death of the sexy cartoon character, and more. Check that out, Waffle Box, at Waffle Box Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, all that good shite. Check that out as well. But then don't forget, also follow us at Mr. Mike Fish, and he is at Alex J. Middleton. Until next week, don't forget,
Seahorses forever.
I don't know when that's not going to become relevant. But
It's
yeah,
always funny.
next Tuesday, live at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, where we're going to be actually doing a post-game show for West Ham, which should be exciting. So until then, see you next Tuesday.
Hey, let's go to Peyton. He's going to break down that touchdown.
Can't hear shit.
Never mind.